Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Streaming Rainbow and the Playground. My name is Bastion, and I am here to guide you on part 4 of our journey. We start today's episode with a different sort of underground view. You see, the playground has a lot of infrastructure within it. It's not infrastructure that makes any sort of like material sense, but somehow it works. And because of that, it's important to maintain. And we start our story with Everly down here, looking much less ragged than she does once she's down a little bit further into the depths. But Everly is here with one of the techies that has been sent to fix up and double check some of the pipes, keep the water running, keep the electricity going. They've been acting up more than usual lately, and Everly has found herself down here more than usual. Alice has started to do some investigations down here below, sending out forward squads of seekers and things like that to figure out if maybe there's some creature or rats or something like that that are just chewing through things down here. But so far it hasn't turned anything up. So in the meantime, Everly's down here again, playing protection duty to some techie to make sure everyone has water, because that's what she does. Techie, at this point, is mostly quiet, like has tried to make small talk with Everly on the way down, and ran out of things to say, essentially, and is now just sort of diligently messing with and fixing up a pipe. When Everly, you see something walk past. Like, you're in a hallway, and you see it walk past, like, from one door to another, or down a crossing hallway, or something like that. Something big, but utterly silent.
Is anybody else supposed to be down here?
No? No, I mean, it's, technically anyone can come down here anytime, right? But, I mean, why would you? It's full of monsters. Well, it's not full of monsters. Usually it's not, but there are more monsters down here than usual. Usually, like, smaller ones, like rat kings and pinwheels and things like that, but...
Okay. I think it's time to get your things and for us to go back up.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm almost done. I just need probably like 10 more minutes to finish this weld.
Stay.
Okay.
Everly's going to go to the door, shield, Captain America style, shield on the arm, and at the door looks down the way in the direction that she saw that shadow go.
Yeah. And you see this big, imposing creature. Now that you're actually looking for it, it's probably 7 feet tall. It's almost as wide as the hallway, easily 4 or 5 feet wide, but it looks like you can see through its midsection, but you only catch a glimpse as it turns the corner.
Okay. She glances back at the techie, who I imagine is so focused.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, mask
Mask on.
on, crazy bright lights. She's like, okay, all right. Stay in here.
Yep. Hard to weld when you move.
Smartass. Okay. She's gonna very cautiously follow. I'm not a seeker. Why am I doing this? Okay. And yeah, she kind of again like shoulder to the corner, peeks around, following every terrible spy movie ever. Just like bad cop drama. It's just like,
Yeah.
is it
And
clear?
as you peek around the corner, the creature is right there, staring at you up close. You see this thing looks like an ogre. Its skin is a dark, muddy brown. It looks waxy. You can see drips almost like the skin is melted and rehardened in places. It's got huge tusks pushing out of its mouth. But the thing you notice first is that midsection you thought you could see through. It looks like a jail made of that melted skin. 5 feet wide, maybe 2 feet tall, with a padlock on the front. And you awaken to the sickening sound that has woken you up every night for the past week and a half. The clang of metal on metal as you were shoved into that cage.
As I wake up, do I feel like I'm inside of a thing, like I'm moving, or am I just in a jail, basically, like a solid?
You wake up back to present time.
Okay. She shakes it off, looks around to check on her family, her charges.
Yeah. What are Ryan and Alistair? How do y'all sleep? Do y'all sleep lightly? Does Everly getting up start to wake you up? Heavy sleep? Have you gone to sleep tonight?
I think Everly. I don't think Ryan went to sleep. I think he's just like crying, just like silently, like whimper, like weeping a little bit. You just hear it like every once in a while, like a little like. kind of thing.
Alistair's pretending to be asleep, but not asleep. Like, you can see Alistair poking up one eye to take a look at what's going on.
Yeah, Ryan's like fully like a fetal position, curled around the hat in the corner, probably like as far away as he feels like he could get from everybody.
Yeah. And Alice is just splayed out without a care in the world, like a husky, just snoring
On the
like
race car bed.
Yeah.
She gets the race car bed.
She gets the race car bed.
Yeah, she like offered to like split it with someone, but immediately splayed out.
Yeah.
Full starfish.
And as you sort of like glance around and get a feel, you see that the strange sock creature is sort of like curled up on top of your feet while you were sleeping. And as it sees you move, it sort of like jumps up and scurries back to the fire pit.
That was for Everly, right? Everly, right?
Yep.
Everly kind of laughs at that, which is it sounds rusty. She doesn't laugh very much. She's very quiet. I have a theme, guys, apparently, for this game. But she goes to the fire, stokes it, begins like boiling, like cooking, starts to cook whatever she can, like boiling water, like things like that.
I think the moment like Everly gets up and stuff, you would hear an immediate like to the sniffling, like maybe a sniffle here and there, but like the like crying stops.
Yeah. I think once she's begun the rudimentary, like whatever, like we're not killing the mushroom people. Maybe they're sacrificing themselves. I don't know, but making some kind of like gruel breakfast, whatever, like whatever she's been able to figure out. But it takes time, so she's figured out a way to like let it sit. And she pours water. And goes over to Ryan and sits, hip touching his back, letting him be away, letting him face away. But she does reach over and puts the glass in front of him. And I'm not telling you that it's going to be okay. What I am telling you is that right now you're safe, and you don't have to do anything but drink water and breathe.
You see Alistair take a deep breath. Sorry, you did it on camera, Mads. I had to.
Yeah. We hear a big sigh, and then, when that big sigh is done, that big breath, that I think what you first would have felt though actually is like the moment you touched his hip. Ryan is like on a 12 right now in terms of like sensitivity, right? It's just like wires or nerves are frayed, but like you place the water in front and you like feel them sort of relax, and he kind of sits up, puts his like back against the wall, kind of like not really facing you, but at that like 45 to 90 degree angle ish, so you can know that he's talking to you, mm-hmm. But he's like very clear, like he like won't make eye contact, and he's still kind of just like looking down, and he's just says like thank you, for everything. Thanks. I don't think I said it already, but or I said it before, but thank you for saving us. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Takes a sip of the water.
Now that you're sitting up, now that Ryan is sitting up and drinking, she nods. Again, that solid, steady pressure, but nothing grasping, nothing like pressure on the arm, pressure on the shoulder, little squeeze, and she gets up and goes back, grabs water, and crouches next to Alistair, puts it down. Are you ready to work?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes.
All right. Breakfast will be ready in a bit. Cooking was not really my strong suit, but it's better than what Alice can do, so yeah, we'll go.
Yeah.
And she goes back to her parenting duties as they are.
I think when Ryan sees Everly leave Alistair, still very sheepishly, he like walks over to Alistair, with his cup half filled, and kind of like offers it. It's the only thing he has as a peace offering, probably dying of thirst, but is like, I gotta give something. Abuela always said, don't show up without a gift if you're gonna apologize. And the only thing he has to him right now is this hat that he's never giving up, a vape that nobody should ever touch or see again, and this cup of water.
Alistair goes to cheers it, thinking that that's what you want to do. I know we're supposed to let the moment live.
Matt, why are you so
No,
cute?
that makes sense, because it's like, that's what yeah.
Yeah.
That a 13-year-old would think.
Cheers.
What? What?
Is that not what you,
I was...
Oh.
If you wanted more... Well, I was just...
I have my own. You should probably drink that.
But it... Okay.
My nan says
Jumps at the opportunity and just slams the rest of the water.
My nan says...
Fucking dying of thirst.
Right. My nan says that whenever you are... it's important to hydrate, is what I'll say. Yeah. Hydrate, not hydrate.
Do you mind if I sit?
Oh, please. Alistair makes more room than he needs to.
It's still like not really making eye contact. Kind of maybe look at like the fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I just I think I owe you an apology. That wasn't cool. That wasn't cool of me. You didn't like do anything wrong. I actually like thank you. This means a lot, and it would have meant a lot to Joey that somebody keep this hat. And give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
He never stopped being a DM. I think you see a pause, and he says, "I think you should keep it."
So, I don't think you need to apologize, but you didn't do anything wrong. Your reaction was completely natural. Death is hard, and I completely yelled at my nan whenever my dad died. That's not the same. Not saying it's the same thing. Completely different than this hellhole we're in. But it makes you do things that you maybe perhaps don't want to do, and even if you did want to do them in that moment, sometimes you need to break things whenever you're angry, and you need to yell, and you need to feel those things, and I'm not good at feelings. I'm rambling again. Anyways, the point is that I accept the apology, but I don't think you needed to give it to me. Well, I never really had any close friends in the playground. You and Joey, I watch a lot. And you and Joey Joey really liked you. He tried to talk to me. I tend to just blow him off, but he really liked you, and I think that... I mean, if you want... I think that he would want you to have it. He always said that Ryan was the best person in the playground.
Fuck. Jesus fucking Christ. You son of a bitch. Oh my god.
To be fair, he did say that Kate was the second best.
I think, there is probably something just beneath the surface. I don't know if it would be like empathy or something that Ryan is not ready to say and probably would not say. But if you wanted more, I think it's very obvious that there's like something they're holding back. If you want to roll something to like, we could roll each. And I think whoever gets the more success, you could see it.
Yeah, let's do a contested roll. I love that. Ryan, you're going to be rolling Composure Subterfuge.
Okay.
And Mads, you're going to be rolling Manipulation Empathy.
Composure, subterfuge. I am going to take a penalty of a dice because of depression.
Okay.
Relatable.
I'm gonna be rolling 5 here, and then that is 110, so that's 1 success right now. I'm gonna reroll it.
You already beat me. I got 0 successes and a fumble.
Oh, you botched.
I botched. So what you see is something that you probably seen like pretty rarely in these like big battles, but you've seen it recently in that battle, right? Which is like this. Ryan has no intention of escaping this. He doesn't like there's no, he'll help and do whatever, but this is like the reckless look of like, whatever happens to me happens to me. So if somebody's gonna keep this hat, it should be the person that's gonna like make it out of here. And he just says, no, you should keep it.
Alistair, seeing this, thinks back to a memory of Joey going on and rattling on to around like probably a campfire at dinner time or something like that, about Ryan being so cool and Kate being so cool, and how Ryan was going to be the one that saved Ryan was just the best. And Alistair sees that Ryan doesn't really have another reason to keep going right now. And probably in the past, Alistair would have just accepted the hat and been like, okay, fine, this is what he wants. I'm not gonna really I'm just gonna take it and not really make a big deal of it. But Alistair kind of overly loudly says, no. No. Absolutely not. Ryan, I know we don't know each other well, but no. Joey would want you to have this hat.
Yeah.
And you are going to keep the hat. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
you are keeping the hat.
Hey. No, just take it, okay?
Nope. Nope.
Just take the fucking hat.
Nope.
It doesn't matter what Joey wants because he's fucking gone.
What mattered because he cared so much about you? What? Find yourself.
And what did that get him but fucking dead?
Joey died because Joey was a fucking idiot. Joey was a 9-year-old boy who thought he could pilot a fucking bloody bat, okay?
And then I told him, and I told everybody to leave them and tear the fucking head apart, and it was the wrong choice.
And
There's always a right choice, and I made the wrong one, and it cost them their lives, and it cost so many fucking people their lives, and they're fucking gone, and they should be here, and I shouldn't be here, and none of this fucking matters anymore, because there's no way out. There's no fucking answer. There's no fucking rhyme or reason. There's no pattern to find. Ryan. There's no fucking chessboard. There's fucking nothing but sickness and madness and death. And it's gonna come for us all.
And yet, Joey was an idiot, but Joey was brave. Joey had hope. I refuse to give up that hope. I refuse to let you give up that hope. And even if you end up maybe hating me at that point, or not wanting to have that hope, and you know what, Ryan, I will hold on to that hat for you if that means that I'm going to give it back to you. We're going to trade off each day. I hold the hat, then you take the hat. You take the hat, I hold on to the hat. But we got to keep that bravery alive for Joey, for Kate. They were braver than I was in the whole 2 bloody years I've been here. I did nothing! Absolutely nothing during my time here at the playground. And yet 2 kids gave their lives because they believe that we can get out of here. And so I'm sorry. I can't take this hat from you, because you're starting to lose it too, and I won't let another bloody person lose it. So no, I will not be taking the bloody hat. Besides, I don't like pizza. I said it.
Ryan looks at Alistair. Tears still rolling a little bit. Not quite, like, not full weeping anymore. I think the, like, big break has happened, right? The big, like, emotional. This is like a... And I think, Ryan, in this moment, has this, like, I don't know if it's a realization or, like, because realizations indicate a truth, but develops a conviction, we'll call it, that's what aging out is you were, because he's seen now, right, for years, people come and go as young as, like, just 12 and as old as, like, close to 15, and he comes to this conviction that that's what aging out is you arrive at the truth that there is no hope, and once you accept that, that's when you're ready to move on. And he looks at Alistair, and not in his conscious mind, because he's 12 and he doesn't know this, but he reverts back to what is his normal. And he's like, well, if Alistair can't handle this, I'll take this burden. And he says, give me the hat. And he just puts it in his back pocket and goes and sits back in the corner.
Alistair looks after Ryan as he leaves the situation. And Alistair is starting to feel overwhelmed with the different emotions that he's feeling. He's like, well, maybe he just made it worse. Maybe he made himself seem like he couldn't handle the situation. Maybe that... I think he has a different understanding, though, than Ryan does. Like, he understands that maybe perhaps the reason why the magic fails and gets worse when the older kids are around is because they stop believing and they stop having hope. And he realizes that maybe the lack of belief is what's destroying the playground, or and the lack of hope is what's destroying the playground. So I think he eyes his Ouija board, and in the glint of it, he sees almost like a reflection of the spirits within, of Joey, of Kate, and just kind of nods and is like, I won't give up. I'll keep the light alive. Honestly, just kind of mumbling to himself like an insane person. And he gets up, brushes himself up, kind of adjusts himself, and goes over to Everly to see what he should do.
Yeah, and as you approach Everly, you see a grumpy Alice that still has, like, something, like, snagged in her hair that was thrown at her by Everly that she's, like, pulling out. I don't know why we have to get started so early. Like, even if we get out of here, then what? We're too old to go back to the playground. And if the playground's fallen, we can't monkey bars across the fort, so do we just let the wilderness take us? Honestly, maybe it's better down here.
No. We're not doing that. There are other kids out there. There have to be answers. I am this close to having a conversation with that moth.
I am too.
You haven't even been... You have it doesn't. What do you mean you're this close to?
It's
What?
It's not bad. Like, I know the song is a little creepy, but like,
The song is terrifying.
listen,
Is it dirt floor? Or are we in? You said it's a kid's room though, right?
Yeah,
So
this
it's
is
just
like a
regular floor?
carpeted floor. It's like
Carpeted
got
floor?
stains and like gum.
Can we
stuck
say
in it.
that it's for the purposes of what I want a shag?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you see, but not like a full shag. It's just like really thick carpet to where like, and it's got that rayon sheen where if you like move it in the opposite direction, you can make patterns.
Yeah.
And while this is going on, Ryan is making patterns. Is trying to, has now decided, just like Abuela said, when the funeral was over, the crying's done. Now it's time to move on. And has like is starting is I'm gonna ask for a roll later, but I'll let this conversation go. And you just see Ryan in the corner being a little bit of a beautiful mind kind of thing.
I mean, it's not good, Everly. Like, it's got dozens, maybe even hundreds of these kids down here, and why? It's not even killing us. It's
if we can,
putting us in this fucked up coma.
okay,
Why?
but yeah, if we can we please like get some more answers? Listen, I don't know how much you know about this Ryan kid, and at this point she is trying to be softer spoken because it's like, this isn't for him. This isn't like, she's like, we're not putting pressure on this traumatized person. Like, we're not doing it. But she's like, that Ryan kid is so fucking smart. So like, with your skills, with your map, and with his code breaking, and with Alistair's freaky fucking Ouija board, like, that's further than we could possibly, like, we might be able to actually get answers now instead of just running around like gerbils.
I was gonna say chickens with their heads cut off, but I guess that's less morbid.
Well, also, you know, gerbils, like we're in a gerbil, like in a cage with like the different chickens. I mean, I agree.
Chickens should, though. Chickens deserve to have more complicated coops.
They do. Also, God, I miss chicken.
Wow.
I can't have any more mushrooms.
At least these mushrooms have kind of a meaty taste to them.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they don't talk back.
cut that shit the fuck out, Bastion. You sick fuck.
Like you.
I'm picturing one of those
Portobello.
kodamas screaming in a stew spot.
No.
Yeah,
We
Deborah.
put it in a chokehold. We put it to sleep before we kill it.
Yeah. We only grab the
God. Okay,
babies
sorry.
before they're like fully sentient.
Oh my god, stop with veal kodamas.
Veal
Okay, I'm
kodamas.
sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're back in.
Yes. Yes. There's something there. It's all a riddle, and I'm not here for riddles. I'm here to hold up a fucking shield and make breakfast and make sure the smart people don't die. So like, let's make this happen. And at least get some answers. And if you want to stay down here with the mushroom friends, I won't hold that against you. But I can't leave it like this. Okay?
Okay. I mean, it's not like I'm not gonna help you. I
I know.
I don't know.
I need you on my side as far as like the attitude is concerned. I mean, it's bad and we don't need united front. Come on.
I have a great attitude.
Yeah.
If you, have you listened to the TED Talk on optimistic nihilism?
Dude, I cannot listen to one more of your TED Talks. No. It's
Okay, well,
also
it's great.
You can't. It's weird that you called that one mushroom TED. Okay.
Look, we didn't have friends before.
That's true.
Now we have friends. I don't have to name things as much.
Yeah. Oh, here you got. Sorry, that's really sticky. I'm so sorry. She like.
Yeah. What did you want to roll for, Ryan? What are you doing over there?
Okay. I think you see Ryan. Ryan has a feat. Or not? Sorry, not a feat. Wrong game. Ryan has a, what is it called?
Merit.
A merit. Sorry. Eidetic memory.
Eidetic memory.
Eidetic memory. Sorry. Eidetic memory. So they can pull from anything they've seen in the last like month or something like that. I can find the exact verbiage, but it's. I know it's within a day.
Yeah.
So Ryan is writing out, picture perfect, the symbols they saw in the library, and is trying to cross-reference that with the symbols they've seen in this place, and trying to find a pattern of some sort, at least find a like some sort of like, if there's like a key to it, if he can figure out if this is like words, if these are just symbols like hieroglyphs, if it's actually another language, right? Like obviously he wouldn't be able to translate without some sort of cipher or Rosetta Stone style thing, but he could tell like, oh, this is a language though. This has some sort of structure.
Can I help with this with my like Ouija board with the lettering?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Ryan, you're going to be making this roll with +1 die.
Okay.
It's going to be an intelligence occult roll.
Okay, intelligence 4. I am doing this for the audience, by the way. I don't need to read out loud to know what I'm looking at, but I'm rolling 4 for intelligence. And what was the other one you said?
Occult.
Occult, that's right.
Yep.
I think I took 1 in occult, I thought. Where did it go? Nope, I didn't after all. So 4 and then +1 for help.
If you have 0 in occult, that is a -3.
That's right. It's -3. Damn.
So it might make more sense for Ryan to have to rely on somebody else who does have occult.
I also have the team player merit, and I get to roll this once per chapter. Could I try to? I'm trying to read this too. So I roll presence plus empathy, and if the roll succeeds, every child character gains +1 modifier on teamwork rolls.
Great.
Cool.
I think with that, then, with the occult thing, knowing, I'm really bad at this. This is like one of the few mental stats, right? Ryan doesn't think of it in that way, but he's like, this is the one avenue. Because I think Ryan kept trying to just like logic his way out of the playground and find the like, if I could find the pattern, if I could do the thing, if I could reason my way out of it, if I could strategize my way out of it, I can get the fuck out of here. All this fucking, all these witches' heads and these toadstools and stupid fucking nightmare fey creatures are bullshit, and it's a distraction from. It comes down to a puzzle. And so seeing that now, the one element he abandoned. By the way, didn't hear any of that conversation. Fully locked in on what they were doing. Kind of sheepishly comes to the table and says, "Do we have pen and paper?"
My dice are spicy. Not like last episode where they were just wanting me to be okay. I rolled 3 10s and 2 1s.
Oh.
And that reroll is an 8, so that is 2 successes on the team player. So, if more than one character in the group, okay, let me read this. This applies to both primary and secondary actors. If more than one character in the group successfully uses this merit in the same scene, the bonuses are cumulative. So
Nice. So that means that when you help, you give an additional +1. So it'll be +2 when you're helping.
Okay. Adding into the... I'm sorry, Bastion. Can I add something
Yeah.
else into the mix or ask about it?
Go for it.
I chose the prized possession merit as well. That could give me a +2 for intended function of the Ouija board, which would be like actual summoning ghosts. This is not necessarily its usual, so it says a +1. Would you say this would fall into that category of using outside of it?
Let's roleplay the scene.
Okay.
And see what you actually get to in terms of how you're helping.
Okay. Sounds good.
And if you're using the Ouija board to do it.
Okay.
After I assume Alice or Everly hand him some sort of, whether it's burnt carbon and parchment or like actual pencil, whatever, right? I think what he would do is Ryan would highlight the symbol or write out the symbols he's seen the most, right? This is really, follow me, because this is what I would do. I would find the symbols I've seen the most, and I would find, again, like based off of an English pattern or something, or any language I've like been familiar with, like Spanish, to see if there's like a consistent, whether it's like preposition, noun, verb, direct object, or it's like, right, if I could see something like that, and then I would see those, because usually the words that are most common in the English language are the, a, and, it, be, right? Mm-hmm. And so try to find those and find the critical mass of those. I feel like I sound insane the more I'm talking. Find the critical mass of those, find the median of like what has showed up the most, and specifically the position of those in the language. And I would show those and be like, have you seen these anywhere else around here, and where? And show that to like the table, and kind of that way.
With your eidetic memory and Jack's notes, it is definitely a language. You have picked that up. You know the meaning of a couple of basic symbols that are like objects usually, or like places, because that's where you see them, is mostly in old ruins and like old texts and things like that. But the language itself is very rudimentary. Think it doesn't have as many connecting words. It's mostly just verbs, nouns, and context.
So it's kind of like a more rudimentary version of like ancient Greek.
Yeah.
Where there's no prepositions, there's no conjugations, very limited. Okay. Then he would find the ones that he seen in Jack's notes that are like, was there anything like monster or like anything like, I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to find the words that would help us figure out, or even signals of this way, or like things. I think he would, that's what it would be. I think he would try to find those things in Jack's things of ruins, exit signs or maps or direction kind of thing, right? That like, speak friend and enter, these like kind of like guidepost kind of hieroglyphs. And you would try to find anything that he knows that means something like that, and draw those out and say, have we seen these anywhere? And if we have, and then this is where he would bring in Everly and be like, can you mark them on the map?
Gotcha. So you're asking Alistair if they've seen those symbols, or you're
asking
just
the
asking
table.
Everly,
Asking everybody if we've
cool.
seen these tables, and then asking Everly if you have, and Alice if you have, can we mark them on the map?
I know how Alistair helps. I think I'm going to let Everly and try and mark these things first, and then go into that.
Yeah. Alice kind of shrugs and is like, can't really mark it on the map because the map's always changing. So, Everly, you've definitely seen these types of symbols before. There are these places like loci or nodes or things like that are like this room, that are like the kitchen and things like that are these like strange dream or nightmare versions of real places, and you've seen these symbols there. Maybe not these specific ones, so you don't have that type of eidetic memory, but you have seen the symbols, the language there.
Okay, but there's nothing that I'm going like one for one. I recognize that.
No.
Okay, well then I would relate that and just say I can't tell you. That's not. I don't know that kind of thing, but like these are the kind of spaces where I would see things like this, like the vibe of them.
Yeah.
Alistair puts the Ouija board on the dirt or wherever we're sitting at the moment.
The carpet.
The carpet. And says, it's worth a shot, but maybe I can use this to try and talk to someone who knows more about this than we would. Maybe someone that's died here before, to see if, because if there's one thing I do know about the magic, and something that I think, Ryan, you're very good at finding patterns, but unfortunately I'd have to say, from what I know, is that you're looking too much for the pattern. It's not the pattern we need to be looking for. We need to be finding the chaos, that part of the thread. It thrives on entropy, the things that will continue to go into awry. And so perhaps it's not going to just be the words, but maybe we're looking for the symbols individually, the letters individually, and that might be changing for all the words. So let's see if we can use a different mind, perhaps. And so I want to use my Ouija board, which, again, that would actually be using my prized possession in the way it's intended, I guess, so that would also give me another +2 to the roll.
Absolutely. So that would be a +2 from Ryan helping, bringing you to an intelligence occult +4.
Okay.
Remember your willpower.
Oh, thank you.
That can give you an additional +2 or allow you to re-roll if you fail.
Okay. So I have right now I'm rolling an 11 dice right now. I only have 60 10s, by the way, so I'm just gonna be, I have to roll in batches here. So I think I might just try and reuse it if I fail those rolls.
All right. You don't want to roll more dice?
I was gonna say, I think with 11, your odds are way better with adding +2.
Okay, then I'll just do 13. So we're gonna roll the 6 twice and then 3 of, well, no, yeah, one more after that. I can math.
We got your back.
We're actors, not mathers.
Yeah, mad.
I was gonna say we're hot, not smart, but
speak for yourself.
Bastion, you sexy man.
So that's bad so far. I don't know if y'all know, but I'm a bad roller.
The spirits are not with us.
I was hoping episode 2 was an aberration.
Okay. No. Okay, so I had 1 10, so 1 success, and 13 die. 1 success. And then I also rolled 2 1s.
Who did you piss off?
Bastion knows this in home games, like pause. I mean, not pause, but pause. You know, Bastion knows this in home games. I am one of those like rollers where it's like, ooh, there's a whole tough roll. Do we want Mads to make it? Do we want Mads to make it? It's historical.
I think technically you get a reroll still, right? Because then you can cancel out that other.
Burn a willpower to do a reroll.
I think I will try to cancel out one of those, at least to get 1 success, I guess. Let's try this one. Come on. Nope, that's 2.
2 successes?
Nope, a 2. Wait, I just rolled 1. Can I roll more than 1?
No, you re-roll the whole roll.
Oh my god. Okay, great. That's perfect. Okay. Okay. We're rolling with. Oh my god, that's so much better. Okay, we will count that one roll I made as like the 113 dice. That was like the 2. That was a fail. But so far on this first roll of 6s, we have 3 10s and a 9. And
So that's 4?
yeah, so I'm gonna reroll the 10s after I roll the other 6.
All right, you got 3 10s to reroll. I'll keep track of that.
Thank you. Okay, that's 1 1, so one of those is gonna go away, but then we have another 9 and then another 10. Oof.
Jeez.
Okay, so we have, I guess, 4 10s to reroll.
5 successes and 4 10s. That's nuts.
Okay.
God, what a swing.
All right, there's another success. Another 10. That's not a success. And then that's it. So we got
One more reroll.
One more.
You had rolled a 10 right now.
Yeah, I know. I just re-rolled it and it was not good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we got
7.
7 successes.
Wild.
Gotcha.
And I lost like all my willpower pretty much, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Wait,
So,
how much? I thought we start
for-
with how much willpower do we have?
Your willpower is your resolve plus your composure.
Oh, okay.
So I had 6.
Yeah, so you spent 2.
Yeah, so I spent 2.
That was not all of them.
Oh, okay.
For any rules nerds out there who have read the World of Darkness Innocence book, we're bending things a little bit, and I'm going to give a peek behind the curtain here. Normally, you're not allowed to spend more than 1 willpower on a turn. I'm going to say that we're not in like the heat of combat. We're not in a time-sensitive point, so allowing the reroll there with the willpower. The game also doesn't typically have a reroll mechanic for willpower. I'm introducing that from other World of Darkness and White Wolf systems as a replacement for the add 2 to stamina, composure, defense rolls, because I think it is more interesting, and I like to give players more control over their like rolls and results when like things really matter. So a couple of small changes to the willpower mechanic that we're doing here, and to great effect. 7 successes.
From 0 to 7.
From 0 to 7.
Huge swing.
Huge swing. Yeah.
Come back, kid.
So you set down the Ouija board. Alice is immediately like, "Oh, I've seen that movie. Are you sure we should be using that?"
It's okay. Well, actually, the Ouija board is not just like it's been so overused in movies to make it seem like it's just some sort of silly thing to do. But no, yes, we can really use it. I've used it very much. I've practiced a lot. This will all be fine.
Maybe that's why you're here.
Alistair's not going to mention that's how he got into the play. Literally how he was
Also-
trying to contact his dead dad.
As Alice says that, as well, Ryan is like feeling the weight of a vape feel like 200 pounds in his pocket.
Yeah.
Everly just shoots a look at Alice like,
I'm just saying my truth.
you don't have to say it out loud.
I think you could if I kind of try and
Yeah.
like take what happens. Okay, cool. But what happens first is at first what you see is like for a good 2 minutes nothing's happening. At first, Alistair is muttering to himself. You hear just things that are British. You don't know if they're actually words. But like he's talking, and then you start seeing something. But at first, it's not good either. You see Joey a husk of Joey come out of the Ouija board, and you just literally see like a ghostly like apparition of Joey, but not his usually smiley, happy self. It's just literally a husk. And Joey doesn't really respond. Alistair tries to talk to him. Okay. Have you seen the runes, Joey? And Joey just tilts his head and tries to swing his lollipop mace, because that's all he really remembers to know how to do. So Alistair tries again, and kind of saying, okay, well, Joey, show me who does. Joey, I know you can do it. Show me someone who does. And Alistair pushes with all of his might. He goes farther than he knows he probably should. This is the furthest he's ever used his board. And as he goes, Joey kind of like perks up, and slowly as Joey disappears, new apparitions comes forth, and we see Kate instead with a rope around something and pulls another apparition that we actually don't know who it is. Pause. Is it Jack?
Yeah. So Alistair and Everly don't know who it is, but Ryan does. And as the figure comes into view, you thought Alistair looked like pompous in his outfit, but this character is in like basically a full suit. And like it's perfectly coiffed hair somehow, and the nerdiest looking wire rim glasses you've ever seen. And he has a different air about him than Kate and Joey did. If you had to describe it, it'd be less caged in, less controlled, maybe. But he turns to sort of look at the group, and Ryan, you recognize from various descriptions that this is, in fact, Jack, the old bookworm that went to the fort 10 or 15 years ago. Well, this is interesting. Am I to assume I'm dead then? He sort of looks through his hands.
That'd be correct.
I think Ryan, sort of like not even thinking about it, hand just kind of comes up and just kind of does the...
No.
That is quite invasive and uncomfortable.
We're terribly sorry. Please ignore him. No, don't ignore him, but like, please ignore that. He's had a very trying time.
No, curiosity is quite
Jack.
fine. Yes, I'm Jack, and you are?
I think the new Jack.
The new Jack. Well, I'm terribly sorry. I hope that they have enough diaries for you. When I came in, the whole place was a shit show. Hardly anything.
Hardly anything. Holy shit. That was me, not Ryan.
Yeah, they didn't even have bookworms. Before then, it was mostly just seekers and parents. Very much a sort of survival. I tried to bid.
Can Ryan roll a, I don't know what, study investigation to figure out, even roughly, right? Like when, because he's at seekers and parents. That's two. That's no techies. That's no bookworms. That's no greeters. That's nothing. Mm-hmm. Can he... Obviously, I would imagine it's not a very good job of passage of time because of the way things go. We gotta have some rough way of...
I'll give it to you with your eidetic memory and having read through his diaries like very recently. It's been 17 years.
Jesus Christ.
Since his latest diary entry, and he was in the Nightmare Land for about 5 years prior to that.
Interesting. Yeah, we've come a long way since you were around, and we wouldn't be where we are without your contributions. So first, thank you.
Yes, I I very much wanted to switch from survival mode to something else, to give us a goal, a hope, really, for escape, for a future, for something, anything, change. We deserve more than just surviving. But I assume if I've been called here, I'm dead, so it must not have worked out terribly well for me. And my second assumption is that you need something from me.
Would I have known if Ryan aged out, or if Ryan...
he aged out. He went across the
Interesting.
handlebars. Yeah, the monkey bars.
Rough. That sucks.
He was here from 9 to 14.
Yeah, Ryan's belief chart goes further into no hope. Yeah, and I think Ryan just sits there and kind of rubs his chin. We do need something from you, but it's kind of is doing the Doctor Strange. Like, I don't know how many questions I got. I don't know how much time I got. I got to ask the right questions, kind of thing right now. Mm-hmm. We'll let the others take more of a lead.
Hello. I'm Everly, one of the parents, I guess.
Good to meet you, Everly.
Good to meet you. You don't remember what happened after you went to the fort?
Oh, no, I do remember a good deal of what happened once I made it to the fort, but unfortunately, the closer it gets to my apparent time of death, the more difficult it is to remember.
I can understand that. I'm very sorry. I don't know what Ryan has found. You have diaries, I guess, but we've found ourselves in this labyrinth under the ground. I think we're even below the playground. And there's we're calling it the moth. And Everly like describes the moth.
Evocative.
And I don't know if Alistair and Ryan have heard the lullaby, because unless they haven't heard it yet, have they?
No, unless because you haven't repeated it to them yet.
So we find these children wrapped up in these paper cocoons, and they look like they're covered in, and I think Everly actually digs around and has taken some of a cocoon, showing the crown drawing, and the ones that we find that are still with us, they say this lullaby, and it's paper wings and gentle strings, nighttime hush is what he brings, dreaming safe in cotton halls, gentle hands behind the walls, rock-a-bye in whispered gloom, sleeping in a paper womb. When you wake, the moth will call, and in his arms you softly fall. Does that bring anything? Is that anything you or any of your seekers ever experienced?
I had a theory that there were multiple tiers of creatures in Ur, or whatever you're calling it now. Nightmare Land is what they called it. I've tried to replace it with what I believe to be the correct reading of the runes, but nevertheless, I believe there to be multiple tiers. You have your lower tier creatures that aren't representative of much besides being terrifying. You have a sort of middling tier that have some goal or motive that is not their own, that is perhaps given or innate, and an upper tier that you only see every now and again, very infrequently, that have their own desires, needs, things that they're looking for, right? And I only encountered one of these creatures that I would consider a tier 3 creature. It was different in that it seemed to have a sort of sentience about it. And it was also different in that it was not simply a nightmare. You see, I wanted to get away from calling it Nightmare Land because that's false. Sure, a lot of what we deal with are nightmares and monsters, but a lot of what we deal with are also dreams, right? Positive things that have gained representation here. And the creature that I spent a good deal of my time researching was a sort of dragon, but not a fairy tale type of creature. This dragon had the face of an old man and a terribly long beard, scaled skin, but it seemed to switch between dragon scales and what I could only call some form of eczema. Its skin and scales flaked off frequently. Anyways, the details of the creature do not matter. But what does matter is that after a year of gaining its trust and being near it, I was able to speak with it. And it was able to speak back. We were able to understand each other. This creature seemed to be not a nightmare nor a dream, but something in between, a representation, I believe, of a child's desire for freedom and detachment that manifests both as dreams and nightmares. So whatever this moth is, the fact that it is so powerful, the fact that it has lore and has likely been around for a while, means it has desires of its own and likely could be spoken with or further understood. But my best guess to how you could escape this place would be to figure out what its desires are and align yourselves with them. Align your escape with that. Convince it that you escaping is a true realization of those desires. Or simply kill it. Once you've gained its trust, that is.
As Jack goes on and began to talk about this different tiers of beast and talks about desires and dreams and everything, I think two things happen. One, Ryan looks at the map that again has shifted since the last time he looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks about a video game that he wasn't supposed to play but did. That he played at his cousin's house. But the only thing they have is like an old PS2 because his cousins are much older. And it was God of War. And he thinks about Daedalus's maze. And as Jack goes on and on about creatures and sentience and choice, Ryan is staring at the sock dog, flipping around a vape in his pocket.
Is it possible that dragon that you found, do you think it was from one child or do you think it was from many to have that much power?
I imagine that it would be from many, though how these creatures come to be I'm not sure. It just seems that they are aligned with particular fears and hopes.
Thank you.
Yes, and the four of you are older, and many of you look like you should have aged out by now. You said that is the state of most of the kids that are brought down here.
Yeah, so I did. So what I saw, there weren't many of the little ones.
And just how far below the playground are we?
I don't know.
I think from what I remember, it has to at least be half of the distance from the playground downward, if you were thinking about how it looked, and then how it looks if you turned it upside down, and then it's halfway. That's what I remember as I fell, but that's maybe not fully accurate anymore.
Certainly close enough to still be considered part of the structure. You said it doesn't kill the children, this thing.
No, they just can't be woken. They can't be woken up.
So it kidnaps older children, keeps them alive, near the playground, and just lets them age.
Until
Not
they
wanting
fall.
to grow up.
There's one axiom of the playground, one steadfast rule to make the whole thing not collapse, as it were.
Blimey.
It's literally collapsed. No, the playground, apparently, I've been here for a week and a half, but apparently the playground literally fell into the ground.
That's correct.
And how many older kids that should have aged out are down here?
There's so many. There's halls.
If they're asleep, though, that means they can be woken up.
We've tried. I mean, I'm assuming we've tried.
I understand. I don't. We also tried to figure out the answer to what was happening, and it took us falling into a hole to figure that out. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we just don't know the answer to what that is yet. And it might be the moth.
No.
And it may be
The moth.
paper mache and paper wing.
The moth is working with something. I didn't fall into a hole. I was trapped inside of the stomach of an ogre that was a prison.
Interesting.
What? You what?
That would have been good to know. Thank you.
Well,
Telling us now.
I am telling you now. There's a ghost. There's a dead person talking to me. This is a very strange day.
You're doing very well, Everly. Good job.
All right. Can you not be so British, please?
That feels vaguely offensive. I could ask if you would stop being... Well, I could ask if you would stop... Never mind.
Yes, let's... Okay.
Well, I think that it's hard to say if this creature specifically caused the downfall of the playground, or if it was just an unlucky coincidence that it kept so many old kids so close by.
Only conspiracy theorists think everything is connected, and only fools think something like this is a coincidence. I respect your contributions, but I think you're wrong here, Jack.
Certainly. After all, I only know a slice of the situation, and I am in unbearable pain.
Oh, God, I didn't know that. Can we... Okay, last questions. How did you end up here if you crossed the monkey bars? Because that's what you had said, right? Just to be clear, above table, Alistair had said, who else died around here that has answers?
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I quite know.
Well,
who knows how long this thing has been gathering?
Yeah. At least 17 years.
Ah! Alistair screams, and I'm sorry about the scream. And Alistair screams, and the visitation just slowly ends. And then I wanted to ask Bastion, do we have what type of wound or damage appears onto Alistair, probably indicative of how Jack died?
Yeah. You feel your body grow cold, and you feel chills, goosebumps just almost starting from the ground and moving all the way up. You feel it become difficult to breathe. You feel constricted. You feel cocooned as the outside of your arms and your neck get red markings covering them.
Everly goes in, and again, the grounding, holding in, breathe. In through the nose. Out. Don't hyperventilate. Slowly.
And that's where we'll end today's session. Thank you all for hanging out. I had an absolute blast. I hope that my players and my beautiful and or handsome viewers enjoyed this as well. We'll be back next week with the finale, the final episode of The Playground. Will our protagonists escape, or will it take too long?
I'll never let go, Jack.
Literally.
Stop it, you fucking piece of shit, Eli.
Hey, listen. Listen.
God damn it.
It was the door. He could have gotten the door.
I love all of you. And until next time, good night.
Bye.